Well, I did tell you that there will be, shall we say, a continuing carousel of continuous Brexit stories and very seasonal Brexit stories that we will get time and time and time again. So, what are we coming up to? Well, we're coming up to that time of year where, once again, farmers need those seasonal workers to come in and pick the crops or pick the berries or do the work on the farm in time for harvest season. This is the time when it is most labor intensive for the farmers, hence why they need these workers. Now, of course, as you all surely know this story, by now, what happened? Well, most of these farmers used to get predominantly most of their labor, they used to come from Romania, Poland sometimes, I think Bulgaria as well. I think probably the most highest area where we used to get those sort of seasonal farm workers. And of course, because of Brexit, that has ended. And very, very much so. The UK government has been absolutely adamant that it wants to sort of cut off immigration as much as it can, while in the meantime, immigration since Brexit has only skyrocketed. Like I say, it's got nothing to do it's got nothing to do with Brexit, that immigration is skyrocketing, nothing to do with that at all. But this is, of course, the key thing that we always said, always talked about every single this time coming around next year. And ultimately, I think we're probably going to see a couple more of these stories. But this story, I think, is even more sadder because you have a farm here that has been producing soft berries. So you're talking blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, that type of stuff for over 75 years. And this is the first time in these years where they have not sold or not produced or grown this product in 75 years. And even though the title is, oh, it's a cash crisis, no, this is a Brexit crisis. As much as the BBC sometimes might not want to try and, say the B word, this is a Brexit crisis. This is caused by Brexit. So, before we go diving into this story, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, as always, there is a link to the Pony Club down below as well, and the YouTube thank you button as well. So, on with the show today. So, this comes from the BBC, the title of Nottinghamshire Strawberry Grower Stops Production Due to Cash Crisis. So, a family farm that has been growing soft fruits for over 75 years has said that the rising costs have forced it to stop growing berries. Starkey's fruit near Southwell in Nottinghamshire has recently lost its traditional sources of seasonal workers. Yeah, why did it lose its source of those traditional workers? Again, that is the main point of this article. This is what we're going to see from the farmers in a moment. They cannot get the access to the workers that they used to get access to, which is now rising their costs. So Susanna Starkey said that the wages had gone up along with the low prices from buyers, and this has made businesses unsustainable. The farm will remain open and produce other fruit, such as Bramley apples. For decades, Starkey's farm has grown blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries for supermarkets, farm shops, and wholesalers. In recent years, it was growing around 800 tons of soft fruit in the polytunnels. But Miss Starkey says that the sales director for the farm said that the business had been squashed at both ends, with rising wages for pickers meeting inadequate prices from buyers. She said traditionally they would use at least up to 140 pickers, mostly from the EU. Many of them had come to us for years. They knew it was a good place to work, Ms. Starkey said, but with Brexit, it became more difficult and they just did not feel welcome. The farm has used agency workers from now further afield, but the costs have soared. The prices are set by the marketing groups and we have no say in it. And it was clear that the situation was only going to get worse. So we've had to sell our growing frames abroad. So perhaps in Romania or even somewhere else, they are growing strawberries for our supermarkets with our frames, which is ironic, said Mrs. Starkey. She said the decision to stop growing the soft fruits had been emotional, with the fields that would normally be laden with fruit at this time of year now being left empty. It is with a heavy heart that we've had to make the decision to cease production of the berries, she said. We would be sending them out right about now, but instead we've got bare fields. So, once again, that's the reality of Brexit. That was always going to be the reality when we were warning farmers. And bear in mind, there's a lot of people out there who still labour under the impression that farmers mostly voted to leave. No, farmers were very split. They were very, very much split when you look at the data. So not all the farmers voted for Brexit, and not even the majority of farmers voted for Brexit. It was very, very clearly, if you look at the data, there was a split. So a lot of them did know what the consequences would be, especially those who were exporting a lot, knew exactly what the consequences would be. Less access to labor. Now I can't sell my fruit abroad where I might be able to get a better price. Now, well, you've got to risk trying to get your produce across the border. You've got to risk the consequences. What if, again, it gets stuck at the border? You get big queues. The weather could basically turn that lorry load of, at the time, fresh fruit into a complete rotting pile of, well, slush. These are the chances that British farmers now have to take if they want to try and sell the stuff abroad. And the thing is, if they want to sell it here, well, basically the markets or the market, the supermarkets basically have full say over. They can now charge whatever they want. So even if it's just a complete lower price. And yet, remember, Brexiteers were constantly saying how much in support they were of farmers. Same with the current Conservative government, saying, oh, yes, we're so in support of farmers, so in support of farmers. But no, time and time and time again, they have turned their back on farmers consistently. Say what you want about the cap, but to be honest, farmers were far, far better in the common agricultural policy than they were now. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.